and more people are coming. Great. Hi, Laurel. So welcome to everybody. This is Being of Greater Power in the World class. And right now, the reason I have brought this up is returning to the United States, it just feels like so much of our power is being challenged. We're in this real skepticism that while our power is being taken away, and everybody has, a different way they think that they should solve that or what they need to do. But that just seemed to be a real collective consciousness about, our powers taken away by forces outside of ourselves. And of course, power begins within you. And, always being able to stay connected to that always gives us so much reassurance and confidence that whatever we're doing, we're going to be okay. It's like you are your greatest resource and power. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. But I'm going to start this class with a 14-minute slideshow on pictures of Ireland. And as I talk, we are going to see these wonderful photos. I thought some of them were really good. And we'll go from there. Yeah. So off we go. Where do I begin with this? We're going to go to share screen. All right, there we are. Okay, now we're starting this slideshow, hopefully. It's just loading down a little bit. Now, this place of wonderful Ireland, and Ireland has a connection with the land. And what I really saw is that the land is held together by water. Ireland is like a big sponge, so to speak. So as we do this class, we ask the infinite intensity consciousness of the elements of water to power us, and the elements of earth to power us. And we ask to connect to the consciousness of air. And we ask to connect to the consciousness of fire. And we ask to connect to the consciousness of trees. And we ask to connect to the consciousness of rock. And we ask to connect to the consciousness of the etheric, energies between worlds that float and connect with us. May we begin to feel this empowerment inside of us and feel this energy of what that is with the land. And the ancients that lived in Ireland, water was the element that flowed through everything, and with them. And we're talking with the Tulith the Danan. We're talking about the Atlanteans. And we ask that that presence be here. So may all the 7 elements flow through everybody and open up in your womb, open up in your heart, and open up in your third eye. And we ask the consciousness of the energies of the sun and the higher vibrations of sun energy and those who are highly evolved, which would be the consciousness of carbon 5. So we ask for the consciousness of carbon 5 to activate and connect with these 7 elements of water, air, earth, fire, plants, rock, and the etherical worlds. May they all be active within all of us. And everything that is your source, that you have been ancient Atlanteans or been in primitive, what they call primitive cultures, but they're not really primitive cultures. They're highly advanced cultures. All of what you know and perceive, know, be, and receive inside of your body memory of the ancients. Would you be willing to activate that inside of you? A billion times 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 a billion. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everything that you know about, well, we have somebody coming in here. Everything that you know about your magic, can that be activated? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. I just had to turn that off for just a second because somebody was coming in, and now we're going back to it. Hopefully it will start again. Hi, Jamie Lee.
Hi.
Hey, it did work. Good. Welcome.
Thank
So
you.
we'll continue on. So everything that, and I want everybody to just go right down into their second chakra, into your womb. Feel that second chakra. Feel your sexual organs. Feel this big space between your hips. So would you claim, own, and acknowledge that magic? And that is so much of your power. So we ask to activate the elements of fire, air, water, earth, the plants, the rocks, and the etherical worlds to come into everybody's energy between their hips. We ask that to activate a billion times 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 a billion. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everything that you have been in fear of what's happening in the world, that we're being treated unfairly, that there's scandals, that there are conspiracies of that we will be degraded. All of those fears inside of your body that are telling you that's more important than your magic. Would you be willing to claim on and acknowledge your magic and the power inside of you is more relevant and closer to the source of who you are than all of this stuff outside of you? So everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So just keep your focus on your second chakra, in the space between your hips. That's what I like to call it. In our prime directive of the space between the hips energies is our sexual energies. So we like to activate the infinite intensity of consciousness of the generative capacities of sexual energies and all that is connected to the earth, the magic, the elements, to activate a billion times 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 a godzillion to the godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So we're creating a energetic resonator, like between our hips. And we're also asking that the earth come into us, and the earth's elements of fire, air, water, earth, the rocks, the plants, and the etheric realities enter into this. And just visualize energy coming up through your perineum into your womb space. And it's just a constant flow happening right now. So all of what that reality is, we ask to activate a billion times 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 a billion. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And what adventures, what excitement, what ideas and creativity can you generate from this energy? Can you allow that to come forward? Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everything that you have connected this energy and this power to God and goddesses and, people of spirit, so to speak, whether that be Jesus or Buddha or Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene or Isis, different saints, all of what their presence is that they know of this spirit that's connected. And also of the ancients like the Tuatha the Atlanteans, the Druids, all people of the land of Ireland. Will you allow all of these energies to come into you? Will you allow their presence to be with you? And if there's one you really have an affinity with, just see that being, invite that being to stand behind you, just right up against you. And if there's no one, ask your angel, your guardian angel, your primary guardian angel to stand and be with you. So everything that is, will you allow that energy to come in and be in your presence? And see your body as this great energetic resonator of energy. You might call it power, but it's just this high vibration that is strongly inside of you that's vibrating now. And all that you knew of the ancients, whether that be the Atlanteans or the Isis or the Aborigines or the ancient Chinese and Kuan Yin and Lasso, that open these earth energies and open the energies of the cosmos, where you allow those energies to come into you. We activate in all that you can perceive, know, be, and receive about those energies. Will you please activate those a billion times 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 a billion, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And I want you to take your focus down to your perineum. And your perineum is right between your genitals and your anus. It's the spot where the life force of the earth and other realities of earth presence come into you. But also we hold a lot of joylessness, punishment, abuse there. So all those memories of abuse that you've hold, of being treated unfairly, of wrongness, that are held in the perineum. All of those ways, means, methods, modalities, forms, structures, significances, that it's there, and all the positive and negative ions and free radicals that hold it all in place. Will you please destroy and uncreate it all totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everything that you have been knocked unconscious, knocked out of your body due to these abuses and due to the pain that you've held into your perineum, will you allow the power in your womb, the power of these energies that we have summoned, to go into your perineum and heal it? Allow the energies to go into there. Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And would you claim only and acknowledge that the power within you is stronger in your world than the abuses, than the misfortune, than the ways of being degraded and obliterated, and all that's happening in the world that we're in fear of, that's going to destroy us. So everything that brings up, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And can you now receive the earth and the spirits of air, water, fire, uh, earth, the plants, the rock, and etherical realities? Can you receive them in a greater way than you ever known before? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So, wow. I'm just adjusting this. Just feel that resonating inside of you. All of this energy. So we're going to activate one more energy, and then we're going to start doing clearings. So everything in the middle of your second chakra holds an energy. In other words, if you go to the middle of each chakra, there's a special power there. It's a special area of about 1,064 cells. And energy runs from the back side of you and into a chakra. And by the time it gets to that one little bitty area of 1,064 cells, it's all kind of funneled down into that small space. And then it moves through it, and then it moves forward to the front side of your body and then opens back up to a bigger space, like chakra size. And then it just continually circles around your body like that. So in that really small space in the second chakra is a place called the divine spark. And in the divine spark, it's the information that you were bestowed with when you came into this body in this particular lifetime. So all that you know and don't know about you and your powers and abilities that are in your divine spark We ask the infinite intensity of consciousness of it to activate in the light energies, to activate a billion times 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 a godzillion to the godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. In the light of you, that is your higher self, that's in the divine spark, may this be fully activated a billion times 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 a billion, right, wrong, good, bad, pot on, and shorts, boys, and beyonds. And may it commune with the energies of earth, of realities beyond the earth, uh, and of fire, air, water, earth, plants, trees, rock, and the etherical worlds. May all of that flow into this divine spark. And for just now, would you allow yourself to be infinite? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So just think of this womb area, this space between your hips, to be activated with the energy of you, fully activated of all of who you are. And will you allow yourself to be able to conceptualize and perceive that energy? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all nine shorts, boys, and bonds, and all the people that you've given that away to, all the etherical cords you have with people that you feel like, I'm just giving this away. I'm binded and bonded to them, and I'm giving it away. What's your story that keeps that rationale there? Just tell yourself, this is the story that I'm giving it away for. I'm obligated to them. If I don't, I'll feel guilty. I feel ashamed that they're in my life. I am so angry at them that I am not going to let them go because I've got to punish them with this anger. I'm just giving out sample stories. You may have your own. Whatever that is, think about it. Own it. That's my story. Now let's clear it. All the bindings and bondings you have with that person, would you be willing to give them up? Would you be willing to give up this story and, more important, the emotions that keep you perpetuated in it? It might be that I am the weak one and I'm the angry one because I'm weak. Whatever it is with that person that you're giving so much of your own innate power to, your innate intelligence to, would you be willing to give it up? Would you be willing to give up that conflict? Would you be willing to give up your projections towards them? Like, I'm sending this to them because I just really friggin' don't like them. I hate them. I hate that facility that it makes me feel. Would you be willing to give that up? So let's clear it. All the vows, oaths, swearings, agreements, commitments, fealties, contracts, willingnesses that you've made to those stories and the projections and the emotions and the relationship like that throughout all lifetimes, dimensions, realities, relationships. Will you please revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate that totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And so would you claim on and acknowledge that your divine spark, this power inside of yourself, your relationship with the earth, your relationship with your higher power, and the higher power that thrives and lives inside of you, that is your source. Would you allow that to be in your life? Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. It's not like you have to defend yourself against this person or this situation anymore. They may still be in your life, but I don't have to live in that conflict. I don't have to live in that place that I have to be mad at them. I have to attack them. I have to be in fear of them. I have to resent them. Because that's the charge that keeps you active in your anger or your fear instead of living in the joy and vitality of your own power. You're giving that energy away basically to a useless cause because it doesn't change them, but it only hinders you. So all of those people that you send that out to, like they're a bitch, they deserve this. I just want that revenge against them. I just want to be safe from them. Would you claim on and acknowledge that you no longer have to live in that story and that energy? And you no longer have to hold it. And all the places that you hold that and project it out, can that become visible to you right now?
Yes.
It might be coming out of your liver or out of your gut or another place. It could just be an attitude and it just resonates inside of you, in your intestines or in your spleen. All of that sadness and anger and shame and fear, holding that in place. And all the force and energy you use to hold it there through your judgments, through your resentments, through your retelling of the story and recreation of that energy. All of that blackness of what that is inside of you. Would you be willing to give it up and revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and unquit them totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And would you be willing to set them free?
Yes.
Would you be willing to take yourself out of that conflictual equation
Yes.
and do whatever it takes? And this may be, you may be thinking, well, if I do that, I'm not teaching them a lesson. If I let them go, I won't have anybody. Whatever that story is, would you be willing to let it go? Would you sacrifice your sadness? Would you sacrifice your fear? Would you sacrifice and let go of your anger and quit storing it away because you feel like you need it in order to survive a fight of some sort or a conflict? Everything that comes up with that, will you please revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate that totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. And everything that comes to the place of belittlement, that I am this small and I've got to live that because I don't know what else is there. Every place that you hold that smallness inside of you, and all the stories that says, that's just who I am. There's some part of me that's small. Would you be willing to let that go? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everything you're afraid of that. Would you be willing to let that go? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And would you allow your fears to come up about who you are, about your smallness, and allow it to have light? And if you saw how small and shameful you are, all the lies that you have built, that if you really saw that, it would just destroy you. It would just tear you apart. That's a lie. By the way, would you be willing to let that go
Yes.
and really see whatever that is? Let it come up. And when you see it as your wound and embrace it. Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So go back to your second chakra. Everything about that power of who you are and that you're connected to so much, it's a divine reciprocity. In other words, you're receiving divine energies. And I brought up the ancient elements of fire, air, water, earth, the plants, the rocks, and the etherical as just one way, because that's what I've been playing with the Irish energies. But it can be something else. But can you receive that? Would you be willing to receive that just because you're worthy of it? It's just who you are, that everybody has. That everybody has this. Everything that we all have that, and it's connected with the earth, other people. Would you allow that matrix, that awareness of all of what that is, to connect out with thousands of millions of people, thousands of millions of plants and rocks and the earth and fire of the sun, fire of the inner earth, water, the fluidity of water and all the consciousness it moves, and the fluidity of air? Will you allow all of that to flow inside of you? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And a deeper exercise to do with fire, air, water, earth, the trees, uh, rocks, is to sit outside or sit inside with your doors open. Always find that you had to have something connected. It's harder to do with everything shut up. But put your consciousness, for example, in the earth, and then feel the earth inside of your body. And do it with water and air. And just learn what it's like to have those elements and the consciousness of those elements inside of you. And then ask for the etherical realities as well. But they all are available to you. And this is part of the information of the ancients, that they were in communion with the elements, and somewhere in their magic, they could change reality. They could lift 10-ton stones and lift them in the air and put them on top of 3-ton stones to make dolmens. They could do stuff like that with it. And nobody can figure out how the hell they did that. How do they make pyramids with these rocks? It's just one theory. So let's think about COVID-19. I don't know about y'all, but I have been really tired since I've come back to the United States. And I think part of that is there's a certain malaise that's happening. Everybody's just fatigued. They feel trapped or bored. The vibration of illness. all of these things, that we're connected to. So let's just go into this. So I'd like to connect to the infinite intensity of consciousness of this fear we're going to die from this disease. Now, it could be you're saying, well, fuck you, I'm not going to die from that. It's not even real. And then you might be on the other side, like, oh, I'm definitely afraid. I am staying at home every day for the next year. Whatever it is, what they both have in common is there's judgments and there's fears and there's anger and there's various things wrapped up around it. And it's connected to a collective consciousness of people who believe the same thing. And so it's like a big weight. So how many considerations do you have that you're trapped, that you're stuck wherever this is, and that your freedoms are being diminished? Everything that you are believing and buying that it's an outside force. And I'm not trying to say what's true and not true. I am just clearing fears, in other words, beliefs that people are having. I don't know what the truth is, and it's not important. What's important to me is the energy that people fabricate and create as the truth, as opposed to, well, that's just an energy, and I'm not going to buy into the emotions that everybody is pumping themselves up with. That's what I'd like to clear.
Mhm.
So everything that people are feeling trapped, confined, uh, shrunken, walled in, compartmentalized, and separate from others. All the fears, all the shame, all the sadness, all the anger, all the lack of love that is generated with that, and all the positive and negative ions and free radicals that hold all of that in place. Will you please destroy and uncreate them all totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And how many vibrational specificities? In other words, it's a vibration just going out in the communities and towns and throughout the world of something, of the vibration of fear of degradation. In other words, it's a fear that we're going to get used, that we're being manipulated. Uh, Everything that is vibrating inside of you, all the specific implants, positive negative ions, free radicals, hold that in place. Will you please destroy and uncreate it all totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And would you claim on to in knowledge to your body that your power of you has more strength and more influence and more presence inside of you than this fear of being trapped. Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Just check inside your second chakra right now. And that power, think of that second chakra as your power generator. And it's vibrating, it has vitality, it's strong. Would you claim on and acknowledge that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And feel the higher vibration there. And everything that there's a vibration of illness, that something's very wrong. And we're going to suffer from it. We're going to be degraded from it. We're going to get obliterated by it. All those thoughts you've thought, all of those things you've heard and you reacted to it like, that's not true. I hate that point of view. Or, oh my God, he's saying it must be true, I'm afraid. Whatever that is. Um, Everything that you've aligned and agreed with and resisted and reacted to those beliefs, will you please destroy and uncreate them all, totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, so all the vibrational specificities that this disease is just taking us apart. And it would be fear of obliteration, fear of annihilation, fear of degradation, fear of non beingness, and fear of non sexualness. Everything that you're connected with those vibrations, all the specific implants, all the specific explants, and the positive negative ions of free radicals that hold them all in place. Will you please destroy and uncreate them all totally and utterly? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. So everything that you've heard this news about stuff that's happening these days, and you've just said, and you've gotten angry about it, or you're saying they're liars, or you're saying they're right, and I'm so scared. You know, we clench up and react to them in various ways. Would you be willing to let all of those go? Everything that is right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay. Whew. That was really strong. Okay, so let's go back to the power. Everything that you've denied you, that you do not have a divine reciprocal relationship with all energies. That somehow is in jeopardy of these times. Everything that is, would you be willing to change that? Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay. I've kind of changed things around with the computer. Um, so go back to your second chakra. Feel that vibration. We ask that we ask to activate the infinite intensities of consciousness of air, water, fire, earth, plants, trees, rocks, and the etherical realities to activate inside of us a billion times 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 a godzillion to the godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So think of your womb as a big plant or a big pot, excuse me, a cauldron. As a friend of mine would say, the sisters of the white cauldron. It's really kind of like a cauldron that you're making your magic from. Just see that as that you have a cauldron there of magic that's powerful, that's strong, that has plenty of vitality. And what does that vibration feel like for you? Everything that is, we multiply a billion times 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 a billion, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And we allow that white light and that strength and energy and all the magic of it to activate. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And if we could sum up that into one word that really encapsulates it, of this higher and higher vibration, because the higher vibrations that you get, the one word that describes it is love. And the more we evolve, the more our love grows and becomes something else. We become something else. But love is that essence. So feel this love inside of you, this higher vibration, and we call it love. And in the second chakra, it's all about the love you have of you to have power, to have strength, to have vitality, to have creativity, to have prosperity, to have sex, to have sexual energy, to have psychic abilities, and to have just this vitality to create anything you want to create. So, would you allow that womb, the space between the hips, vibrate as a generator for you? And just feel it. And allow it to extend out to everybody in the group here. Even though we have people from Poland and France, Austin, Texas, and various places in Austin or outside of Austin, we all vibrate together. And we vibrate this with our neighbors, people in our home. And it's not a matter of whether they're good or bad people, or we love them or we don't love them. It vibrates with them. And when you allow this to go out through your city and your communities, and that you all resonate this together. And as it goes out, it also resonates with the trees and the rock and the earth and the water, air, and the fire. And we ask the higher vibrations of carbon 7 that activate a billion times 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 a billion, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And would you allow you to enjoy this power, this higher vibration? Would you allow you to enjoy this love? Feel how good it feels to enjoy love inside of you. It doesn't have to have a purpose or an ambition. It could, but just for now, would you allow yourself to appreciate it, to know that it's a privilege and a joy to have it and to be raising the vibration. And one thing about this time, and I've said this before in my classes, but it's really pertinent, is that the collective consciousness of the world is rising to a higher vibration during this time. And so the more we do this type of work, we are promoting it, but also we're kind of jumping on the A train, and rising and kind of being on the crest of the wave and getting to enjoy all of what that is. It's a privilege to get to feel this stuff and to walk with it. And so, would you allow yourself to have that privilege? It's not a matter of you deserving it or I'm worthy. It's yours just because you're alive. It's all there for you. And that way, you don't have to throw it away because you don't feel like you're deserving it or you have a bad day or that you're mad at somebody. No, this is with you regardless of how you're feeling. So would you be willing to claim on and acknowledge that that's you? Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And what a joy it is to have such a sensuality. Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pod, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. And that's really it. Are what type of fun will it be to have such a sensuality? This is a story. I'll end today with this story because this is when I first started Access. I was in an Access class with Gary Douglas, and he was talking about that we become infinite when we die. And I said, well, why don't we all die then? And he goes, Bart, don't you think it would be a lot of fun to learn how to be infinite in a physical body? Think about how much fun it would be to eat food and to interact with the world and feel the world and make love with all of this divine energy inside of you, all of this infinite inside of you. Wouldn't that be a lot of fun? And, that's the whole point. It's just that simple. And to me, that was a prime motivator. It's like, oh my God, I want that. So, I got to work. And every level that I evolve to and come through this, it just feels better and better and better, no matter what's going on in the world. It's just a matter of unbuying and not buying what's going on in the world, but keeping myself at home. In other words, keeping myself in my body and grounding in my second chakra and feeling that pleasurable place. That is so much of what consciousness is about. So, would you be willing to have that as your life? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop. I thank everybody for coming, and hope you enjoyed the slideshow. I'm going to turn off the recording here.